For centuries, a whisper became a legend that drove men mad and nations to war. El Dorado, the lost city of gold. Hidden deep within the impenetrable vastness of the Amazon, it promised unimaginable riches, a kingdom paved with gold, ruled by a golden king. But was El Dorado real? Or was it a phantom, born of greed and misunderstanding that led thousands to their doom in the world's largest jungle? The seed of the El Dorado legend lies not in a city but in a man and a sacred ritual. High in the Colombian Andes lived the Muisca people. Their new chiefs, in an elaborate ceremony, would be covered head to toe in sticky resin, then coated in fine gold dust. He was El Dorado, the Golden One. At the heart of their territory lay Lake Guatavita, a sacred, almost perfectly circular crater lake. Aboard a ceremonial raft, the new gilded chief would offer precious gold objects and emeralds into the lake's depths, a tribute to their gods. This was not a city but a coronation, a profound spiritual act. But to European ears, stories of a golden man and treasures thrown into a lake would soon morph into something far grander and far more perilous. The early 16th century. Spanish conquistadors, fresh from the staggering plunder of the Aztec and Inca empires, were consumed by an insatiable lust for gold. Every rumor, every whispered tale of native riches, was pursued with ruthless determination. When Francisco Pizarro conquered the gold-rich Inca in 1532, the belief in more golden empires, more El Dorados, solidified. Indigenous populations were captured, tortured, and forced to reveal the sources of their gold. The Muisca ceremony, once a local rite, was twisted in the retelling, ballooning into a myth of an entire city built of gold. One of the most prominent figures to fall under its spell was Gonzalo Pizarro, half-brother of the famed Inca conqueror. In 1541, he launched a massive expedition from Quito in modern-day Ecuador, eastward into the unknown jungle, convinced he would find this golden kingdom. Gonzalo Pizarro's expedition was a disaster. They found no golden city, only starvation, disease, and hostile encounters. Supplies dwindled. Desperate, Pizarro ordered one of his captains, Francisco de Orellana, to take a newly built boat and about 50 men downriver to find food. Orellana set off in December 1541. He found food but claimed the current was too strong to return. Pizarro would later call it treason. Instead, Orellana and his men continued downstream, eventually entering a river of unimaginable scale, the Amazon. For 8 months they navigated its treacherous waters, battling starvation, sickness, and sometimes organized indigenous groups living in large villages, hinting at complex societies. Orellana reported encounters with fierce women warriors, reminding him of the Amazons of Greek myth, thus giving the river its name. In August 1542, Orellana and his surviving crew, skeletal and exhausted, reached the Atlantic Ocean. They hadn't found El Dorado, but they had, entirely by accident, become the first Europeans to traverse the entire length of the world's greatest river. Orellana's accounts, though perhaps exaggerated, spoke of populous settlements and advanced cultures along the riverbanks, fueling further belief in hidden civilizations deep within the Amazon. Orellana's journey and the failure to find El Dorado in the eastern Andes didn't kill the legend. It simply moved it. The Phantom City, sometimes now called Manoa, was rumored to be on the shores of a mythical Lake Parima, in the Guiana highlands. Explorers from across Europe continued the hunt. The English courtier Sir Walter Raleigh led 2 expeditions in the late 16th and early 17th centuries, convinced he would find Manoa and its golden riches for the English crown. He too returned empty-handed, but his writings further entrenched the El Dorado myth in European consciousness. For over 2 centuries, conquistadors, adventurers, and scientists scoured South America, from Colombia to Venezuela, Guyana to Brazil, chasing this golden specter. Each failed expedition only seemed to deepen the mystery and the allure. The search for El Dorado and the broader European lust for gold came at a horrific cost. Indigenous populations were decimated by violence, enslavement, and old-world diseases against which they had no immunity. Whole cultures, some of whom Orellana may have glimpsed, vanished, their stories untold. The delicate balance of the Amazonian ecosystem was disrupted. Rivers sacred to local tribes were sometimes among the first casualties of exploratory mining efforts. While the large walled cities Orellana described were never found again, and likely exaggerated, recent archaeology suggests the Amazon was once home to far larger and more complex societies than previously thought, societies that were tragically erased before their full extent could be understood. The quest for gold wasn't just a hunt for treasure, it was an invasion that reshaped a continent and extinguished worlds. So what became of El Dorado? Over the centuries, attempts were made to drain Lake Guatavita to recover its supposed treasures. Some gold was found, thousands of pesos worth lending credence to the Muisca ritual. Antonio de Sepulveda, in the late 16th century, even cut a massive notch in the lake's bank, recovering more gold before a collapse killed many workers. But no city. By the 19th century, scholars began to accept that El Dorado was not a city of gold, but a garbled account of the Muisca Golden Man ritual. The city of Manoa and Lake Parima were eventually proven to be myths, geographical phantoms on explorers' maps. The historical El Dorado was a man, a ceremony, a sacred offering. The legendary El Dorado was a construct of desire, a powerful myth that propelled exploration and conquest, but ultimately remained just out of reach because it never truly existed as imagined. Though no golden city was ever found, the legend of El Dorado had a profound impact. It was a principal driver for the European exploration of vast swaths of South America, particularly the Amazon basin. It led to immense suffering but also to incredible journeys of discovery, like Orellana's. The story of El Dorado serves as a cautionary tale about the destructive power of greed and the cultural misunderstandings that can fuel centuries of conflict. It also highlights the resilience of myth, its ability to capture the human imagination and drive us to the ends of the earth, chasing dreams of glittering reward. Today, the real treasures of the Amazon are recognized not as gold, but as its unparalleled biodiversity, its indigenous cultures, and its vital role in the planet's health. Treasures that are, in their own way, as precious and threatened as any fabled city of gold. El Dorado, the city, may have been a mirage, but the human quest for the unknown, for riches, for glory, for understanding, that endures. The golden phantom of the Amazon has faded, but the rainforest itself remains, holding its own secrets, its own immense value, reminding us that some treasures are not meant to be plundered, but protected. The true El Dorado was perhaps the journey itself, a testament to human ambition and folly, etched into the history of one of the world's last great wildernesses. End credits.